Year out with injury, had surgery last year. Dalila Mohammed, late withdrawal, and Molina stepped in. So her first competition for 18 months in terms of hurdling. Heinova, if you look the all-time world list, she's right there at #1, the two-time world champion. And Springer actually third best ever, and Sydney McLaughlin is in between the two of them. We've got two of the top 3 ever at this event. And if you were watching the Impossible Games from Oslo a few weeks ago, you would have seen that Springer got surprised a little bit by Sarah Slot-Peterson. We thought that Springer might be the favourite for that one. It was a little slow in getting moving on that occasion, so she might, and she was trying a new stride pattern. I'll bring Colin in on it is a time for experimentation, but an odd distance event as well.
Yeah, it's a fun distance for 400-meter hurdlers at 300 because they feel so strong. Because where all the mistakes tend to happen in the 400-meter hurdles itself is coming off hurdle 8, which is right on that bend, which is around that 300-meter mark. But of course, that's avoided in this particular point because they'll be already sprinting and heading towards the line. So they can really blast and also play a little bit with their stride length. So it's going to be interesting to see who has fixed things, readjusted stuff. I'll certainly be looking at Leah to see how well she does in comparison to her previous performance over this distance.
Well, she's probably thankful she's in Zurich. She did actually race in Holland last week against a very exciting talent, Femke Bol, who ran a very fast 54.4 and Springer dropped out of that race. She had run a couple of other races, a couple of sprint races before that, but be interested to see if she's able to bounce back from that. Heinova, who's already run a couple of times this year, is in pretty good form, but a test for her here. And as I said, Georgianne Moline, who has not raced for such a long time, a welcome return for her. Let's see how she can do. 300-meter hurdles. Well, we'll obviously get a gauge here as they hit the first hurdle. Who started quickly? Springer just checking again there. Heinova a little bit behind. Started a little bit more slowly. Springer still looked as though she's leading this. Molina started very quickly as well, though. The American perhaps out in front. And Heinova got a bit of work to do to get back on terms. A good 4 or 5 meters adrift of the other two. And it's Georgianne Moline who's leading this at the moment. And the American, oh, just got that one wrong there, but Springer also struggling. Now, can Moline hang on? She's still got a 3-4 meter lead. Heinova well behind. It's going to be tight on the line. Who's going to get there? Moline wins it, I think, from Springer. Not by much. Just a 1/10 of a second or a little bit more in between them. Well, that's a welcome return, isn't it? And 39.1. That's very, very good indeed for your first race back. In fact, that's remarkable. Colin.
That is a very strong performance there by Moline. It was good to see it because she attacked the barriers, didn't it? You would never have thought that she's taken so much time off. She just went for it, attacked them well, ran bold, good, competent hurdling. And she even, Steve, with that performance, she made a couple of mistakes as well, a few errors, which is so good to see. That means there's going to be so much improvement coming from her.
Well, she had foot surgery last year, as I said, but it certainly, she's talked a lot about her rehab and how she had to be patient, and she's felt as though training was going well, but you never know, do you, until you race, Colin? So you've got a technical event, and you're also trying to work out exactly how fit you are, but she'll be delighted with that.
I hope she will be delighted with it because that is such a really good, strong performance by her. Aggressive when it really mattered to do. She relied on her ability to compete. Even though you're not having people next to you, you could see that she was thoroughly enjoying the race. It was a challenge, and look at that beaming smile. She's very, very happy with